Welcome back into another preview of the upcoming winter season, the upcoming basketball season. If you have missed yesterday's videos, I previewed Waverly Shell Rock Boys and Waverly Shell Rock Girls. You can find those videos on my Twitter. Taylor from KWay is where you will find that. Go have a look at that. I think both are in for a very interesting season. Go have a look and see what I had to say, and maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you'll disagree with me. Let me know either way. Earlier today, up went the Janesville girls preview, what I think they can do this season, and I think you will find that very interesting as well. So go have a look there. And now we turn our sights to the boys side of things. The Janesville boys, very, very, very intrigued about this Janesville boys squad. Of course, a new coach this year, sort of. He's a guy that's been in the program the last couple of years. And Joe McKenna, he's a very good guy. He takes over the reins for this basketball season on the boys' side of things. And the team that he's taking over certainly does not have empty cupboards. This is a team, if I was taking over this team and I had this squad, I would be very, very excited. I know that Joe probably is as well. Now, the one thing, just straight off the bat, the one sort of thing to keep in mind with this Janesville team, that could change my thoughts is the health of this team. There are a couple of players that are back for Janesville that are going to play big roles for Janesville this year that have had some health concerns in the past. And so the caveat is, if everybody is healthy, that's sort of the caveat to everything I'm about to tell you here in this preview. Health is gonna be huge for this team, maybe more than any other boys or girls team throughout the area that we're going to talk about. I think maybe health comes into the picture more so for this Janesville team. But if everybody's healthy, boy, oh boy, this could be an outstanding squad. I really do believe that. First, let's talk about the seniors. They do lose a couple of seniors from last year's team. They lose Peyton Meyer, a guy that certainly dealt with his own health issues, but a guy that was a senior leader for them, a leader no doubt, a guy that they could turn to. You lose a Jamison Conover, a guy that could hit some three-point shots, played a big role, in fact, led the team in three-pointers last year, was a sharpshooter for this squad. You do lose that. You lose Keegan Feldman, another guy, a guy that could play down in the post, another leader. You lose him. You also lose a Ryan Hansen, who was a guy who could come in and play some big moments for you and played in big moments for this Janesville team a year ago. You lose those guys, but you've got an outstanding junior class who are now seniors. And just to take a look at a couple of them, Cody Hicks. He is one of my favorite players around the area to watch. I love watching him go to work. He's a guy who's probably 6'4". I'd put him at 6'4". Perhaps he's a little bit taller than that. Perhaps he's I would imagine he might be listed a little taller than that. But I just love watching him go to work, not only scoring the rock, but pulling down rebounds. I think he's maybe the best around the area at doing the work early so that he can go get a rebound. An excellent leaper as well. He averaged 18 points per game last year. I think that could be over 20 easily this year. Yeah, I think he should average a double-double this year. I think the points could be over 20. He averaged 9.3 rebounds last year. I'm thinking 11, 12 rebounds. I think he can be absolutely dominant in most games. I think there are just so few, especially 1A teams, that have anything to slow Cody Hicks down. And so I think he's going to have a huge season this year. And, maybe the biggest question mark is for the biggest athlete of this class, Spencer Hoff. It doesn't, wherever you go, you talk to teams that have faced Janesville in really any sport, and they say, Spencer Hoff is an absolute game changer. If he's healthy, if he's on the court, I mean, him and Hicks alone are enough to send this Janesville team on their way. You add in a couple of other guys around those two. Josh Hahn, fantastic ball handler. Nice to have a guy, that has been in big games, and he's the guy that has the ball in his hands at critical points. You like to have a guy like that being the guy carrying that load. He averaged 8.6 points per game last year, and then you add in Caden Conrad, and I like Caden because you look at his physique and you're like, how does this make sense? He's all arms and legs, but he can jump out of the gym. He can pull down rebounds. He can score, and he really took a step forward last year, I thought, in his just how he was put together and how he went about his work. And I wouldn't be shocked if you told me that Caden really looked at what Cody Hicks had done and sort of took a page out of his book because it looks the same. I think, Caden really put in the work, and with him on this team, I think he really does help add another dimension to this Janesville Wildcats squad. He averaged 6.5 points a game last year as well. You look over at the rebounds, talked about Hicks already, 9.3 boards per game is outstanding. Caden Conrad pulled down 4.5. Josh Hahn, the guard, a really good rebounding guard, 3.7 rebounds for him. Spencer Hoff, of course, was injured a lot last year, 3 rebounds for him per contest. If Spencer Hoff can stay healthy, and if those other guys can stay healthy as well, I mean, the sky's the limit really for this team. You look at Josh Hahn, 100 assists last year, right on the button. He turned it over 75 times. I think that turnover number could come down. I think that assist number could go up, similar to Brianna Baker-Bruce, what I said about her in the girls preview. I think those numbers, I think that ratio can get even bigger. And Hahn's a kid that can force some turnovers as well. A good hard-nosed defender as well. Cody Hicks can protect the rim. He is a shot blocker. You take something up weak around the rim, he's going to swat it. He's going to send it back in your grill. And that changes everything. I mean, if you've got a team that loves to drive the ball and get it into the paint, and you've got a Cody Hicks standing back there, I mean, they're going to get out of their game. They're going to get scared, and they're going to get out of their offensive game, and you want those types of teams shooting jump shots, and Cody Hicks is the guy that can make sure that's the case, and that gives Janesville a huge opportunity to pull out wins. You take a look at what Janesville did last year. They averaged 54 points a game. That's good. I think it could go up this year. They had just 15 less assists than turnovers. That's pretty good. A lot of teams are not going to be nearly 1-to-1 on the ratio there from assists to turnovers. They're going to be much more on the turnover side of things. And so keeping it this close to 1-to-1 is huge. If you can get assists ahead of turnovers, and by the way, that the Janesville girls, in the preview that I did for them, I may have failed to mention that they're one of the teams that does a great job on the girls' side of having more assists than turnovers. And if Janesville can do that on the boys' side as well, that too will go a long ways in deciding how far they go. How they beat teams on average by 7.5 points per game. They were in a lot of very tough, tight games. I think if they can put teams away a little bit more, that also would be very, very helpful. This is a team I really, really like, this Janesville boys team. I think there aren't a whole lot of weaknesses. Here's my biggest weakness, the biggest weakness that I can pick out from this Janesville team, and that is they've not had the success that you maybe would hope for. The basketball team has gone out a little bit early the last couple of years. They lost to Tripola last year early, way earlier than you would have thought that even that Janesville team was going to go. So, in football, they've been good. They've been competitive. This past season, they gave Don Bosco everything they could ask for. They gave Rockford everything they could ask for in those games, and maybe you'd say they should have even pulled a game or two of those out in football. And so that's, I guess, my one, sort of the biggest weakness for this Janesville team. Can they prove that they can win the big game in the big situation? That's my question for them. So on that rating scale that I've talked about in all the other videos, 1 being a title contender, 2 a state contender, 3 a team that's looking to make a run, or 4 a rebuilding team, I've got this Janesville boys team as a 2. I've got them as a 2. The 4 teams I've given a preview for thus far have all been 2s. This Janesville boys team, I think they should expect to be at the state tournament. They've got to show that they can win the big game in the big moment, but I think they should absolutely expect to be at the state tournament come tourney time. Now that's going to do it for me here on this preview of the Janesville boys team. We've got more to come, 2 every day for the rest of this week and next week, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, I am Taylor Nitz. Okay, bye.